Okay, as Dave has just discussed a new way to generate revenue for your events using the Speaker Ready Room, there's another way to keep in constant contact with your audience, and that's something else that you guys are all probably familiar with, and that's the audience response system. But here to give us a 21st century version of the audience response system is Miss Janice Scott with Joinspeaker.
Hi. As Claire said, I'm Janice Scott with Joinspeaker, and I thought I'd start out with a little quiz. Which of the following was invented in the year 1877? Was it the iPad, the smartphone, the microphone, or the internet? Excellent, yes. You probably know where this is going. What percentage of people suffer from speech anxiety, not liking to get up in front of others and ask questions or make comments, that kind of thing? 33, 74? 74%? Yeah. Vast majority of people don't like getting up and making their feelings heard or asking a question just because they're afraid of what other people will think. And how can you generate or engage an audience and generate revenue? Would it be learn to juggle, use Joinspeaker, win the lottery, or learn to sing like Tony Bennett? It is, in fact, all of the above, but we feel that using Joinspeaker is probably the easiest way to go about that. So what is Joinspeaker? As Claire said, it's basically the 21st century version of an audience response system. It's a clickerless audience response system that utilizes the mobile devices that people bring into the conference rooms with them anyway. It was developed by a professor to use in the classroom because what he found is there were two things that were holding his students back. One was they didn't want to stand up and ask questions or make comments in front of the other kids. And then also, they wanted anonymity. They didn't want people to know what questions they had. They didn't want people to know what comments they were making. They just were shy about that. So about 5 years ago, he developed this product and has been using it in the classroom ever since. And it's just been less than a year that we've brought it out into the more commercial marketplace. So it's new to the marketplace, but it's something that has been used for about 5 years. So it's sound, proven technology. It takes advantage of the devices that people have with them anyway. As I said, the mobile devices, tablets, laptops, smartphones that people bring with them into a meeting are what you use. You don't have to bring in audience response system hardware. So the benefits of Joinspeaker, again, it's new but simple technology. You don't need to teach people how to use it. We're actually going to use it in a few minutes, and there are no instructions necessary for the audience. There's no app to download. It's all very straightforward. It significantly improves audience engagement because you don't have to stand up, you don't have to hold a microphone, you don't have to be heard. You can be anonymous and yet get your comments heard and listened to. It's a great way from your perspective to distinguish yourself because it is new to the market. It's not something that many meeting planners have available or venues have available to them. So it's a way you can distinguish yourself and your services to your client base. It provides a powerful way to collect data. We have the ability to poll and do voting and that kind of thing. So you can collect data using this. So it's really like the old audience response systems, but on steroids. It's a lot more powerful. You can reduce the costs and increase revenue. So we're here for revenue boost. So the cost reduction side of it is just simple from microphone rentals. In a room like this, say you normally needed to have 3 microphones. If you're using Joinspeaker, you could probably reduce that to 1 and then have people utilize Joinspeaker as an alternative to get their questions and comments heard. So very quickly, you're able to recoup the cost of Joinspeaker by not having to rent as many microphones, because Joinspeaker only costs between $39 and $100 a month per license. So it is an audience response system at a very low cost, and you don't have to bring in special hardware, you don't have to repair it, you don't have to store it, any of that you would with a traditional system. You can also use Joinspeaker on a month-to-month basis. So if you have a professional license, it's $39 a month. If you do a lot of events over the course of 9 months a year and take 3 months off and go to the Caribbean, you can turn your license off. When you come back in 3 months, turn it back on. So it's on a month-to-month basis. You're not committed to it. And from the technological perspective, the requirements are simple. The speaker needs to have wireless, which most of your speakers are going to want to have anyway, but you don't need to have enough bandwidth for the audience. The audience just uses their smartphones or their iPads or whatever. with their 3G or 4G coverage, so you don't have to have enough bandwidth to cover the audience. So it's a new service, it's the increasing revenue. It's a new service for meeting planners to offer to their clients. It has a very high ROI. So if you were to have Joinspeaker as a service to sell to your clients, and say you have the $100 a month subscription, you could probably sell it to your clients for $200 or $300 per session, so you very quickly recoup the cost and start making money off of it. From your client's perspective, it's a moneymaker for them too, because there are 2 new sponsorship opportunities. So the sales pitch for you would be, here's this great new service, and you have 2 new revenue streams that you can generate revenue from by utilizing it. So they're going to be able to recover their costs. The 2 new revenue streams are here. This would be like the big screen, that center portion that you would have. And in the background, you can put any logo, you can put a book cover, anything you want. And so that's real estate that you could sell, or your clients could sell to a sponsor. And then on the mobile devices that people in the audience use, there's a place right on there where you can put a message, and it can link to whatever web page you would like to link to. It could link to a special promotion. It could link to a survey, sign up for the next event, anything like that. So that is additional revenue that your clients could generate by selling that space. So we like to say Joinspeaker is as easy as 1, 2, 3. First thing is you just ask people to join your presentation. They go to joinspeaker.com/whatever your URL is. In my case, it's joinspeaker.com/Janice. So if you have a mobile device, you can go to joinspeaker.com/Janice right now, and you'll join me, and we'll do something in just a second here. And then you can input your questions and comments right on the device. And then I will moderate on my tablet. So we'll actually go right into a real live presentation. So if I'm a speaker speaking at one of your meetings, I have my tablet with me, and when people send me questions and comments, they appear on the left side of my mobile device here, my iPad. And I can choose to send whichever of those to the big screen. There it is, to the big screen that I would like. If people send me questions and comments that I don't want to address, you probably have all seen situations where somebody asks a question that takes the discussion off track or it's not appropriate, I can just delete it off my screen, and it never goes for the audience to be seen. Now, if I wanted to go through all of these one at a time, I just click on there, and the one question that I want to address at the moment gets enlarged, and then I can take it back down. Then I can also do a poll. So anybody who has their mobile device out, if you look on your screen, you'll see at the top of it is a poll. So I can ask a question, and see, people are answering. As people answer, you see the responses impact the pie chart right in front of you. So that's one of the things that's really engaging. If you're sitting next to somebody and you haven't pulled out your iPad or your smartphone, and the person next to you does, and then they vote, and you say, oh, that looks cool, and you want to vote too. So it's very engaging, and all of the data that comes from the polling, the questions that people ask, and so forth, go into a report for you to use later. Then also on your mobile device, the next thing down on there is it says submit your email address. So there are 2 things that work really nicely for this to collect email addresses. And one would just be, if you submit your email address using your mobile device, at the end of the day, we'll do a drawing for the coveted Nordstrom $100 gift card. So that's one good way to collect email addresses. Another would be, if I'm a speaker and I say, I want everybody's full attention, I don't want you taking notes because you may be writing when I say something really important. So put down all your pens, put down your paper, listen to my presentation. At the end of the day, I'll send it to you if you send me your email address using your mobile device. And then the third thing you see on the mobile screen is it says provide input. So I can say, I have a question, and I click provide input, and then in about a second, it appears right here on the moderator's screen. I can decide as the moderator whether I want to address that, whether I want to have it seen on the big screen, or whether I just want to ignore it and go on. So it's a really easy system to use. And as you see, everybody who voted doesn't take any sort of education on the audience's part. and it provides some really nice revenue streams both for you and your clients. So, any questions? You can send them to me on Joinspeaker.
Anybody have any questions?
No questions?
No? Will it work after the event is over? It does, yes. So you can do that. Each license is continual, and so until I use it for another event, like I could basically block it so that I know for 48 hours it's only going to be for MIC, and then I'm going to speak somewhere else. So then the information there would pertain to my next event, and you start a new session. But yes, you could ask everybody to tonight go home and send me another comment or something like that. Mm-hmm.
We have a question over here.
Okay.
How long does it take to set up the account or the license?
The initial setup takes a couple of minutes, and then you do things like you create that background. You create polls in advance. You could get it up, and actually I was at an NSA conference on Friday, and the people putting the conference on said, oh geez, we forgot how we're going to handle Q&A. What are we going to do? They didn't have any microphones in the room. And I said, well, and I, on the spot, set up a Joinspeaker account for them, and within about 5 minutes, they were using it to do Q&A. Now, you can make it more robust, as I said, creating polls and that kind of thing, but it's only a couple minutes. Okay? Yes?
Is there a setup fee in addition to the monthly subscription?
There's not, no.
So the question was, is there a setup fee? Right, so there is not.
I run into time constraints because I'm a party of one and I don't have any helpers in terms of this kind of thing. So if I have 25 speakers and they all want to use it, does it come down to me to try and input all of this into their presentations? I mean, it seems really time consuming.
Their presentations, this is a tool to use primarily for Q&A and audience interaction. It's separate from their PowerPoint. So they would still have their PowerPoint. Like we did here, we just toggled between the presentation and Joinspeaker. So if you had 25 speakers, if they were serial one after the other, they could just continue to use, you may have a URL like joinspeaker.com/MIC, and then all speakers would just sign on and they would use the same one. If you have multiple sessions going on at once, you do need unique licenses because otherwise the questions would get crossed. A question from one room would.
Yeah, they're all, one after the other.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
I don't know that they're savvy enough to even do that. Like
so
go in between both of them. These are physician speakers. They're not known to be tech savvy.
So what a lot of people do in that situation is someone like yourself could be the moderator. And
Physicians are moderators.
okay. So they direct the questions to the person. So, you can do a free trial. You could have the speakers sign up for a free trial and get accustomed to it and comfortable with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We also have a question on Twitter regarding if there is no mobile device used, can you use, say, a laptop or participate in
Yes.
something of that
Anything
nature?
that has web access. Mm-hmm.
Great.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right, thank you, Janice.